This is Tripoint Conversations, and I'm your host, Christina Lowe. Today, I am sitting down with Vic Roos, a consultant and advisor with more than 30 years of experience helping organizations improve leadership, culture, and performance. He is the founder of VPR International, partnering with leaders across industries to build healthier teams and more effective organizations. Vic, thanks for being here.
It is wonderful to be here. Thank you for inviting me. And I'm going to apologize right out of the start. My voice is a little hoarse. I was in Miami Monday night.
Okay.
That could be another podcast on Kurt Signetti and the Indiana Hoosiers
Mm-hmm.
around leadership, but I apologize.
That's okay. Was it, I'm assuming, a good game if someone hasn't seen it?
It was a great outcome for all of us Indiana University football fans. It's been a long journey.
Yes. All right. So let's get started in talking about your experience. And as we talked before you stepped out into VPR International, you were doing this work internally at GE. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, it's an interesting story. My last full-time job, if you will, was with GE Appliances. And I was responsible at the time during COVID for moving a lot of containers around the world to keep our factories running and our products flowing. And I was responsible for procurement teams around the world. So it was a tough time. We were also building, running production. You know, the office people were doing that. And in the midst of all that, I came across just an insight of, I want to help organizations be more kind and loving to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I came across a framework, and we can talk a little bit about it more, called the Working Genius. And I brought that to GE. And before I knew it, I was doing logistics, procurement, and I'd made myself somewhat of an internal consultant working with teams within GE. And that led me to ultimately retiring and now getting into VPR International as a part-time organizational health consultant and advisor.
Okay. When we think about how you got started in leading teams and thinking about the culture, can you describe what was going on inside of that culture to make you think that something needed to happen?
Yeah, I think it goes back, early on. I was, when I was going through Indiana University in the 80s, I thought this is going to be it. As soon as I graduate, I'll be done learning and I can just get to work. And then, of course, I realized that learning is a continuous journey. And I had some amazing opportunities early on that exposed me to systems thinking, theory of constraint, lean. And that is when I really started on the path of organizational health and leadership, and ultimately how to see people more clearly so you can have a true one-on-one relationship, and then that can grow within teams. So at GE, just like every other experience I've had in my career, there were opportunities to help people see each other a little bit more clearly. So that tipping point of going through COVID, realizing the importance of understanding different people, different cultures, different situations, that was the insight to say, Vic, let's just dive in full time, helping people in being kind, being more loving, seeing each other a little bit more clearly.
And can you describe the moment when you decided to take this outside of GE and start your own business?
Yeah, it was, going through COVID, bringing this organizational health tool to GE Appliances. I think the moment, Christina, was realizing that a few years earlier, I had encouraged my wife, Rhonda Rose, to jump out and retire early. She's a leader in public education, assistant superintendent, was a principal, and she had an opportunity to retire early, and I encouraged her to do it. And it was a wonderful thing, and I got to see her live her best life doing that. So, realizing I had encouraged her to do that, and now she was returning that favor to me,
Mm-hmm.
and why not do it now?
Yeah.
That was the tipping point. And we were sitting sitting on a park bench in Seneca Park. And I remember the conversation well. She said, Vic, now is the time. Let's step through the door and begin this new journey. So wonderful. And it's been great. I still stay connected with my friends at GE,
Mm-hmm.
which is great, but really happy, Christina, with where I am as I enter really my final trimester here on planet Earth, right? So these next 30 years, how can I make those the most impactful for my family and friends
Mm-hmm.
and the community?
Now, can you talk about when you go into an organization and help out with their cultural experiences and health? What does that look like when you go in and work with them?
Well, it really, not everybody gets it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So first of all, it takes someone typically in a leadership position that has this understanding that organizational health is more important than financial health, more important than how many patents you have or what your technology is or your market share. But organizational health, if you have that and everyone is rowing in the same direction, that can be powerful and that can be sustaining for companies. So it takes a leader that recognizes there's a gap
Mm-hmm.
and then invites me in to help close the gap. But a lot of leaders, Christine, and I know you've experienced this too, um, there's a simplicity bias.
Mm-hmm.
And they will say, what? I mean, be kind to people, be clear on what you want. I mean, that's just simple, common sense stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It is, but it's hard to do. And my experiences, and I'm sure you've experienced this as well, lack of clarity, confusion on what's essential. Those are things that drain people and hurt people. So not everybody is ready, but if there's a leader there that sees that, that makes it easier for me to come in and instill some of these basic things, but that are so important for helping our humans be more productive, but be more joyful and
Mm-hmm.
fulfilled.
Yeah, there's definitely been in the past where I've seen leaders take the time to focus on culture, and then leaders who say culture is important, but then move on to other things.
That's right.
And so, can you give an example of maybe a more resistant leader who then saw the opportunity once they focused on culture that it does actually lead to bottom line performance when they're not focused on the bottom line performance?
Yeah, I have a client that I work with now, and by investing in training and development, by investing in culture and sustaining that investment through financial ups and downs,
Mm-hmm.
um, they've shown a commitment to their people that you are the most important. I've been in situations, we read about it all the time, Christina. To your point, culture is important, but our sales are down,
Mm-hmm.
our profits are down. Let's cut all that out.
Yeah.
Right. And that sends a signal to people. So the client that I'm referring to, they've stayed true. They've doubled down. They invest in their people. They take care of their people. They bring in advisors like me and others to really show them you are the most important thing. And their sales continue to grow. Their market share grows. Their retention is high. They're a pillar in their communities
Mm-hmm.
around the globe. So that's those are the people that I love to work with,
Mm-hmm.
and they make it a little bit easier for me. But that's what it's all about.
Now, you talked earlier about working genius. How do you apply that when you go in and work with an organization?
Yeah, so Working Genius, Patrick Lencioni, who is a organizational health consultant guru, has written a lot of best-selling books. He developed the Working Genius. And Christine, I go back to my first job out of college. I took an assessment. It was a really insightful. And I've taken a lot of assessments
Mm-hmm.
throughout my career, and they're all wonderful. They all help us see ourselves a little bit more clearly and how we present the others, and hopefully they make us curious about other people and how they're different. But during COVID, the Working Genius framework, Pat invented this because all those assessments were wonderful, but they were hard to track to the actual work we do
Okay.
in organizations. So at a very high level, the Working Genius is about the 6 things we have to do in work, 3 stages, 6 things, and it starts with wonder.
Mm-hmm.
These are people that love to identify the big things, the big opportunities, the big issues that we should be working on as a company. Then we have to get into invention. These are people that love to solve problems, come up with solutions, innovations. So wonder and invention, we call that ideation.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get into discernment. This is the genius of people that intuitively in their gut, they know that's a great idea, but it won't work here, or that's a wonderful idea, let's tweak it just a little bit. So after discernment, what's the biggest thing we should be working on? What are the ideas that will solve that issue? And then discerning what can we do and what should we do? Then we have to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And that starts with galvanizing. This is a person that loves to rally the people. It's a very disruptive genius because it's always impacting people. But rallying, telling the story, getting the momentum going, that's galvanizing. And discernment and galvanizing, we call that activation, Christina. So we've ideated and now we've activated that great idea, and then we need to implement it. And implementation, the next step in the process is enablement.
Mm-hmm.
And this is someone that is super flexible, helpful. I thought we were going to do this. Now you want to do that. I'll help you do that. And those people help things happen. And then finally, tenacity. And tenacity are people that absolutely love to accomplish things on time, to the spec, to the standard, and they finish the project. So we need to do all 6.
Mm-hmm.
We are gifted and we get energy from 2 of those. Those are our working geniuses. There's 2 of those that we're competent in, but they slowly take some of our energy. And then there's 2 things that frustrate us.
Mm-hmm.
And they drain us, and we have to do all 6. But the concept is, if we know ourselves, we know our teammates. Hey, Christina, I don't necessarily like to do this. It's draining, but you love to do this. Would
Mm-hmm.
you please do this? You're better. And of course you'll say, oh, that's great, Vic. You know that about me, and I would love to do that. So it's that seeing each other. So those stages, those 6 steps, they apply to everything we have to do at work. So what I have found is that it is a simple and easy tool to apply to work. And I've had the opportunity to take over 100 teams,
Mm-hmm.
over 2,000 people through this tool. And it's just been a wonderful way to help people see and work with each other better. So bringing this into a company, it's first, here's who you are. Here's your teammate. Does that make sense? Do you see now why you have friction and turbulence at certain points?
Mm-hmm.
And, 95% of the people will have that aha moment. Oh, this explains
Yeah.
why we have issues here, or this explains why our team struggles. We don't have that. So it's a great team tool. It's a great one-on-one tool. And I think eventually, Christina, I will start a cohort for husbands, how to be better husbands using the working genius and
Yeah.
understanding their wives better.
I could see it working both ways
That's
for
right.
teams and in families.
That's right. And we've had a discussion about you and your husband,
Yes,
right? It tracks really
it
well.
does. Yeah. And it does help to understand, okay, here's who I am and my strengths, and here's who they are, whether it's a team or a spouse or partner. And here's how they work best. And here's how, if I take it to them like this, they're going to respond well versus this, it's going to cause some friction.
That's right. And in the case of me and Rhonda, we struggle in ideation. We have to do it. But when we do it, we need to say, boy, that was tough.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that you did that for us, because that's a drainer for you, just as it is for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also develop ways to life hacks, if you will. We struggle in ideation, but we can use AI. We can use the internet
Mm-hmm.
to help us come up with ideas that we can then activate and implement. So again, simple, easy, but a beautiful tool to see each other and respond more lovingly to each other.
You say simple and easy, but I bet a lot of teams, when they first hear about this, it doesn't seem so simple and easy. How long does it take to get teams, I'll say, bought into it and then working through it?
Yeah, that is the key, right? Because I think we can all remember training, development, going to hear a speaker and you say, boy, that was great. That was exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put that away in my drawer and never come back to it again.
Yeah.
Right. So the key is doing, right? It's in the doing, it's in the practicing, it's in the hours of work and application. So in the case of the Working Genius, we have templates, we have tools to help them embed that in their meetings, in their one-on-one conversations, in their formation of teams and projects. And it's me coming back and embedding and meeting with those leaders and having one-on-one sessions with them afterwards, saying, okay, what are we doing with this?
How are you implementing it?
Have you had that conversation with that person where you two clash? And, it's having difficult conversations and building that trust with each other. That goes a long way. Brene Brown has a lot of wonderful work that I try to incorporate as well with Pat's work. But when teams and people trust each other and they can say what needs to be said in the room when we're all together, that's a beautiful thing. And then we can mix it up. We can have that healthy tension, conflict. You wanted to do this, I want to do that. Let's really hash it out with everybody else in the room giving us input. Then we can commit to doing something and hold each other accountable. Again, simple, but hard.
Yeah.
And I tell teams and leaders that one simple way to understand if you have trust in your organization is, do you have politics? Because in the absence of trust, you have politics, right? So how do we get through that? How can we be vulnerable? And how can leaders go into meetings and get in front of their teams and say, hey, listen, I don't know. I'm struggling. I need help.
Yeah.
Help me figure it out. I'm frustrated like you are. I'm unclear about this new direction. When leaders show humility and are vulnerable that way, people rally around them and will run through walls for a leader like that. And I think that's been my biggest life lesson is, diminishing, trying to control and put away our egos and be more vulnerable and open and embrace the I don't know.
Yeah, because a lot of leaders don't want to say, I don't know, or I need help, because they're the leader. They should know how to lead the team. In reality, team members are just waiting to be asked.
That's right.
They have so much to offer. And once the leader says, hey, what do you think about this? Or I don't know, what would you do? It changes the dynamics immensely. And then it empowers the teammate and it helps out the leader because they can pull on those strengths and ideas.
100%. And it reminds me of a story when you were saying that, Christina. early in my career, I was brought into a company that was really struggling. And they had brought in a consultant, a
Mhm.
turnaround consultant, John Tetz, Coopers and Lybrand. I called him the Tetz Tornado. And he really exposed me and the other leaders to all these different ways of thinking
Mhm.
and how to involve other people. So part of our uh, work was to get everybody involved to try to change and turn around this business. And I remember I walked out onto the factory floor and I talked to a material handler. His name was Clinton, a wonderful man. I said, "Hey, I want you to be on my team. We've got to improve these things. And you're out here, you know it. This is your job. I want you to lead it. You know so much more than I do." And he gave me a look, Christina, like,
He's
"What?
never probably heard that before.
You're a manager
Yeah.
and you're coming and asking me
Mhm.
what I think we should do?" And that stuck with me,
Mhm.
right? So to your point, the people know. They really do know. So if we engage and listen to them and admit that they're probably smarter than us in
Mhm.
many, many ways, let's turn it around and really invert that pyramid, right? We like to say that, but are we
Yeah.
really doing it?
Mhm.
But, people are the most powerful resource, and we need to lean into that.
Absolutely. What about with leaders? Have you ever gone in and saw such opportunity for organizational health improvement and a leader was resistant and did not want to move forward with it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, more times than not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And how
more
did
time.
you overcome that?
Well, early in my career, I overcame it by leaving the organization, right? But, it's trying to build that relationship,
Mhm.
right? And it's trying to, sometimes you have to model vulnerability,
Mhm.
right? Like, hey, listen, I don't know all the answers, and, I'm struggling leading my team, and hey, I bet you are too. And what do you really think, off the record? But I think if you can break down those walls, then that person can be a little bit more open
Mhm.
to letting you in and then letting others in. But that's, the journey is we are all unique humans, right? You and I have experienced different things that have shaped us and formed us. And we have to remember that we are
Mhm.
unique. So when you're talking to someone else, working with them, you have not experienced what they have. You've not had the traumas, the cultural upbringing, the experience of their families, work experiences, good or bad. So I think if we give each other a little grace,
Mhm.
that can go a long way in a business environment and in life.
And how would you say your background or your bringing up has help instill those qualities of giving grace to others um, during these times?
Yeah, I was a very asleep human, and I was shaped by the culture and the times around me on, get a college degree, get a job, get married, just follow the playbook,
Mhm.
right? And I was kind of going through these things just because that's what you did.
Mhm.
And then, when I had a real aha personal tragedy, impact me, I realized that I was asleep,
Mhm.
and and it broke me. And Richard Rohr, who is a wonderful author and leader, a Franciscan priest, um, and he leads the CAC, Center for Action and Contemplation. I started reading some of his books. He spoke to me and he talks about, Christina, that, the first part of our life is a lot of building our ego, or as he calls it, our container.
Mhm.
But then something in the middle passage, midlife crisis, a death, a divorce, which was the case for me, breaks you open
Mhm.
and shatters you. And then you realize that it's really not building the container, it's what you put inside. So that was what changed me when I realized I didn't have all the answers. I needed to seek to understand
Mhm.
more. and start this journey of just trying to be more still and listen to what's inside of me.
Mm-hmm.
Whether people call that God, spirit. What I have found in life, and especially at work, what's essential is always with you, but never imposes on you.
Mm-hmm.
But all the non-essential does.
Yeah.
And it distracts us, and we, just get trapped. And before we realize it, we've been on our phone for an hour,
Yeah.
or watching mindless TV. But if we slow down and we quiet ourselves, the answer to our biggest problems and opportunities in life are right there. So that's the path work that Rhonda and I have been doing together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's shaped me now to help others the best I can to maybe get there sooner
Mm-hmm.
than it took me.
So you talk about that. How would you say your faith helps guide you as you're working with organizations or as you're going in your personal life?
No, it is the compass. And when you come to grips that we'll never get there,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's the process, it's the journey, but the veil is there, and as close as we can get to the veil and see and touch and get glimpses of it, that sustains us. So, but we have to fall down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we fall down and we get up, and we fall down and we get up. It's 2 steps forward, 3 back. But having that faith of God, the spirit, the universe, and if we calm ourselves and just think about the incredible fact that you and I are here right now in this moment, all the things that had to happen to
Mm-hmm.
bring you and I together, every breath, every moment, it's a miracle, it's a gift. So again, as I wind her down here, I'm seeing that a little bit more clearly, but faith is a powerful thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I want to get into something, what I like to call a lightning round,
Uh-oh.
where I
Okay.
ask you some questions
All right.
and just short answers. No overthinking it.
Okay.
So, morning person or night owl?
Morning.
Favorite place you've traveled or one that's still on your list?
We love Europe.
Any place specific in Europe?
Switzerland.
Okay. Something you appreciate more now than you did earlier in your career?
The importance of having a good partner to go through life with.
Mm-hmm. Best part of having grown children?
They don't have to live with me anymore.
Yeah, we're at different life stages where I still have.
That's right. It's coming.
Yeah,
It'll be there
coming.
before you know it.
Getting the youngest to be 5 years old helped just a little bit, that, having a little bit of autonomy and being able to put your shoes on. And each stage is interesting.
No, grown children give you grandchildren, and we're blessed with 6.
Okay.
So that's a wonderful thing to have grandchildren.
That's the next question, is best part of being a grandparent?
Just being able to watch these little people become human beings,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully be a little bit more aware of some of the experiences they're having, and just giving them unconditional love.
Mm-hmm. So have you taken them to Europe yet on a big trip?
Not yet, but Rhonda and I are planning to take our grandchildren on big trips when they maybe get to 8th grade.
Yeah.
I'll ask your advice on when the right time is to do that.
Yeah, no, we love to travel with the kids. We take them wherever we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Final thoughts on someone who's in a job that's thinking about a change or thinking about moving from corporate to starting their own business. Advice that you would give someone.
Yeah. Follow your heart, right? Follow your heart. Sometimes we get so in our minds and in our heads that we talk ourselves out of why not to take that leap of faith.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, God and the universe will always provide and take care of us. So just listen to your heart and where it's leading you in a kind and loving way. Follow that.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it it's a twist or a turn you didn't expect. It's a learning opportunity. And that's what life is, learn and grow and hopefully transform ourselves.
Be open to listening, and then don't look at a setback necessarily as a setback, but where's it taking you?
That's exactly right.
Yeah. All right. And if someone wants to learn more or connect with you, what's the best place they can do that?
Well, they could go to my website, which is VPR International, and it'll have all my contact information. And if you're in a place where you want to help your team, help yourself, be more kind and loving, I would love to have a conversation and help them.
Well, thank you, Vic. I appreciate your time today, and thank you, everyone, for listening to Tripoint Conversations.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Tripoint Conversations. Make sure you hit subscribe wherever you're listening so you never miss an episode. If this conversation resonated with you, share it with a friend or someone who's navigating their own next chapter. And if you know a story that deserves to be heard, or maybe that story is yours, head to tripointstrategicgroup.com and send me a note. I can't wait to keep this journey going with you and introduce you to more incredible people who are shaping their communities one story at a time.